Central Indiana's news and weather station.
93 WIBC, Indianapolis.
This is First Day, 93 WIBC. In just a moment, we're going to tell you about how 80% of some homeowners, well, if you're one of those, you're going to want to hear this story because you could be losing a lot of money right now with your heating bills. We'll tell you all about it coming up here on First Day on 93 WIBC. And this is First Day. I'm Alan First for Terry Stacy. It's 11:20. October is National Energy Awareness Month. Now, based on the forecast that we're hearing for the next couple of weeks, it seems like this would be a good time to think about how to stay warm this winter. Many people aren't just concerned with staying warm, but also finding ways to keep energy costs down. And there are a bunch of things that you can do to help in that. Tim Logue is Operations Director of USA Insulation of Indianapolis. Good morning, Tim, and welcome.
Thank you. Good to talk to you, Alan.
It's I would imagine being in the insulation business, you love talking about such things, insulation and all. That's not exactly the part of Lowe's that I hang out in, but it is something that a lot of people want to hear some things about, particularly right now. And one of the stats that I picked up in the last day or so is that only 20% of homes built before 1980 are considered well insulated. So that must mean people are either cold or paying very high bills or both. Is that the case?
Yes, sir. That's correct. It is one of the most unsexiest things to talk about in your home, but it is definitely the thing that can save you the most money in your utility and energy costs.
What's the difference in the way they insulated homes, say 20, 30 years ago, than what they do today?
Well, the technology has changed quite a bit. A lot of the products, several years ago, we went through different codes and different building codes throughout the years, and for a period of about 30 years there was actually thought that no insulation and having a big air gap was better than having anything in your walls at all. Then they went to using, cellulose, which is shredded paper products, and then went into more of a fiberglass type product. All of those get a fairly low R value, and now we have is it's called injected foam, and it goes in and it foams the entire wall.
Oh, okay. So it's a completely different process today than that some of the stuff that we used to see in the older homes. I remember in the home my parents built back in the 1950s. You could just say it was sort of a yellowish fiberglass, I suppose, that would kind of be coming off the walls in the one part of the house, the garage, where there's no board over it. And that stuff is just fairly inefficient. So if I'm a homeowner today, what would I do to know whether or not my home is efficient or not?
Well, there's a few ways you can do it. I tell people if you're in the wintertime, if you don't see snow staying on your roof and you do your neighbors, that's a good sign that your house is under-insulated from the attic. If you have a walkway around your house, a 2 to 3, maybe even a 4-foot walkway around your house, it's not because the snow can't reach there. It's actually because there's heat loss coming through your walls, and your heat is actually melting the snow right up against the house. A good insulated house will have snow all the way up to the edges, and it'll have a nice layer of snow on the roof.
Now, it seems to me that's what I had last winter. It was everywhere. And if you have a house, though, and you just want to go through it, and is there any way you can eyeball it in any way to tell what kind of insulation you had, particularly on these older homes?
Well, there are several ways we do that. We come in, we can actually camera scope the walls. In some cases, we can even thermal image the walls. We'll look at inside your walls to see exactly what's going on, and if you're insulated adequately or under-insulated. In most cases, we find anything that's built prior to 1980 most times have zero insulation in the walls.
Wow, that's amazing. I have one of my sons has a home that was built sometime in the late 1800s, and I'm telling you, there's got to be no insulation in that house in the wintertime, and they're paying probably $1,000 a month in the dead of winter when it's really cold in upstate New York. So is there anything you can do with an older home like that? Because the way they're constructed, I'm not certain you can get into some of those walls.
Well, the one thing that USA Insulation specializes in, we actually specialize in the older homes. Most people do not realize that there are ways and means of opening up your walls in an uninvasive way and filling those walls. We actually inject a foam process into the walls that fill every single nook and cranny, every single spider track. we can fill up everything in there, and in about 95 to 99% of the cases, you'll never even know that we were there. If we've done our job properly, we'll take your walls to 5.1 per inch R value, which is the resistance to heat flow. The higher the R value, the better insulation. We'll give you the maximum amount of insulation that you can get, and you will never know that we've been there.
Being National Energy Awareness Month, do you have some other tips that might help some of our listeners save some money this winter?
Yeah, one of the things that we like to tell people is look around your wall outlets. If you feel your wall outlets are getting air in, you might actually look at foaming those. You can buy that foam from the hardware stores around your outlets, your light switches, that type of thing. And certainly, check your windows, see how your windows are, if you're losing air through your windows and heat loss around your windows. Might be nice to save you some money by prepping those with plastic.
Does it help at all to somehow insulate the pipes or the water heater?
Yeah, we do recommend that you insulate. When we come out, we do a free inspection of your home, and a lot of the things that I'm looking for is not only the wall insulation and your attic insulation. We're looking at how the basement or crawl space is insulated around the foundation, keep your floors nice and warm. We're also looking to see how your AC, your heat and air conditioning units, and your ductwork is insulated. A lot of people fail to insulate those products and seal up the leaks. And we find a lot of air leakage and air loss on AC and heating units, and that in itself can cost you a lot of extra money, in some cases as high as 10 to 15% on your utilities.
Wow, good stuff. Thank you, Tim. Very helpful. I think for the winter ahead, the thing to do is make sure that you're at least warm in the house when you can be. Tim Logue is Operations Director of USA Insulation of Indianapolis. This is First Day on 93 WIBC.